Hello, this is Todd Luck, and this is a video with some sad news. Robert E. Howard's Dark Agnes by Marvel Comics is now canceled. Dark Agnes was a 5-issue miniseries. We got 2 issues of it, and then the pause happened in April with COVID-19, and the 3rd issue got caught up in that and never hit shops, and now it's just not going to come out according to Marvel Comics. At least that's what they're saying right now. And I wanted to do this video because I did do a review of Dark Agnes #1, and I did say that I was going to do a review of the rest of the series when it came out. And, well, I guess I could do that because I have all 2 issues. So I'll say that the cover's okay on the 2nd issue. It's not necessarily something I want to display, but it is attractive. But the story and art on that 2nd issue just didn't improve. This 1st issue, other than this gorgeous cover, which was awesome, I just didn't really enjoy, and it felt more like a farce, like I was reading a Monty Python gag than a Robert E. Howard inspired story, and it just didn't improve with the 2nd issue. And I guess that's my review of the series because we only got 2 issues. So I guess to me it's not that big a loss, but I will say that I do like this cover on the last issue that was supposed to come out, and I certainly wouldn't have minded owning this. And this was the only Dark Agnes series in existence. This was the only comic devoted solely to Dark Agnes ever, and one of the few comics ever to come out with this character. So I certainly would have gotten all the issues, and it's just a shame that she is one of the victims of the COVID-19 pause that struck the industry. And so you may ask, why in the world would you not put out 3 issues? It's all it takes to complete this series. The 3rd issue's already done. You've already paid the folks to put it out. Why not just keep going with it? And I don't have an official answer to that, at least not one that I could find, but I can speculate. So Marvel has reduced the amount of titles that they're producing right now. And I don't know if that's a capacity issue or if they're trying to save money or whatever, but whatever the reason, they're producing less titles. At the same time, they're trying to put out the new titles that they're supposed to be putting out, along with trying to get stuff that was delayed into their production schedule. So this has limits on capacity of what they can put out, and there's only so many of those books that got delayed that they can fit in there. And so they're looking at books that don't sell well and probably just eliminating them. So just to give you an example, because it may not feel like there are less comics being published right now because there's so many crossover tie-ins. I mean, you look at those Men in Black, King in Black tie-ins, it just feels like they're endless. But to give you an example, this is one of those waste of paper catalogs that Marvel puts out for free that you can get in your local comic shop. This was for pre-COVID-19, pre-pause May 2020. This was what was supposed to come out before everything got delayed and or canceled. And in this catalog, it shows over 100 titles that were going to be published in that month and that were going to hit comic shops. Over 100 titles. This is the most recent one. This is for February of 2021. This has 60 titles. So that's a dramatic decrease. So unfortunately, not everything is going to make it in that production and distribution schedule. Now, I don't want to give anyone false hope about seeing the rest of this, but there are theoretical ways it could happen. So back in the day, if this happened, Marvel had plenty of options to print those unused pages in other places. They had, specifically for Conan, they had Savage Sword and Conan Saga, the Conan magazines that would come out monthly, and they would be big, thick, over 50-page magazines, and you could run something like this as a backup story. Unfortunately, those magazines don't exist anymore. They also used to have comics that had rotating features like Marvel Premiere or something like that, that they could put it in. But unfortunately, really aren't any titles like that out there anymore. And there were like specials and stuff that they could put out as well. That may be a remote possibility, but probably unlikely one, considering they probably make a lot more money if they just put it out as the individual issues, unless they just found a really good place for a backup story for that series. Another possibility would be trade paperback, but this only is a possibility if all of it had been completed. If all 5 issues were done, then they could put it in trade. Now, this all does involve printing and distribution costs, but that could be a way that they could do it, but only if it was all completed. Lastly, and this is the most cost-effective thing they could do, and certainly something that they could do for issue 3, and in my opinion they should do for issue 3, is put it online. Put it on Comixology, and then you can download it and buy it there. Now, the reason why that might not happen, even though it's a no-brainer thing that they could do that's not going to cost them any extra money, because the files are already done for issue 3. You know, all you have to do is upload them to Comixology, and you're going to start making money off of them. The reason why that wouldn't happen would be because the series isn't complete. If that's the case, they probably won't release it. But here's the thing. I mean, I know that's not something Marvel really does, is release incomplete series. But I think in this case, I think it would be appreciated by the people who enjoyed the series. You know, if you like the series, I mean, like I said, I didn't care for it, but if you did, I know when I'm in that situation, I really appreciate every little bit I can get about what happened next. Even if I don't get the ending, I want to know what happened next. And, you know, I think that would be a really great gift to the fans. And also, I'm sure there's more than one of you who liked it, right? And it would also be a way that Marvel could recoup some of that production cost, because that's the greatest cost when you're producing anything is production. Typically, you know, you have to pay all the different people to make it. So I think that would be a win-win situation, and I think Marvel, you know, ought to kind of adapt to the situation since it's so unusual and do that in this case. I think it would be greatly appreciated. I think even better if they have no intention of ever producing the rest of it, put what was done in the back of issue 3 or issue 4, if there such a thing exists, and let us know what would have happened. You know, put, you know, the pencils or the inked pages or the script or whatever. Just let us know what would have happened. I think fans of this series would love that to death. I don't expect that to happen necessarily, but it is possible and a possibility. And so where does that leave the Robert E. Howard comics from Marvel? It leaves us with one Conan title, which is Conan the Barbarian, and another title that Conan does appear in as part of an ensemble cast, Savage Avengers, which of course is an Avengers title, but it is a Conan appearance. And that's it. There should be a king-size Conan special coming out, I believe in December, and I'll definitely be picking that up and reviewing that because it has a lot of good stuff in it, or at least a lot of creators with very good pedigrees that I hope are going to produce something good. All right, well, that's it. Like and subscribe for more videos, and hopefully next time I'll have something a little more cheery to talk about. See ya.